So you learned a bunch of solo ideas, but they still don't feel like jazz. If this is happening to you, it might be time to start using the English. So in this video, I'm going to show you how drummers like Billy Higgins use the English in their solos so you can start sounding more authentic in your jazz solos today. So a lot of us, when we first learn to solo, we can play some ideas, but it sounds like this. Right? It works, but it just sounds a bit dry. It sounds a bit stiff. And it's because it's missing the little rough around the edges feeling, the schmutz, all the little imperfections that make somebody like Philly Joe Jones or Billy Higgins sound so authentic. Right? It just sounds more like jazz music when you have that sort of inflection. And it can feel like, you're spending all these time learning these licks, maybe from a YouTube video or from a record or a book, but they just never sound right. And it's almost impossible feeling to like transcribe what these guys are playing when they're using the English, okay? And that is the time when you should start working on the English. So you hear me say it a bunch of times. What is the English? So the English is something that the great jazz drummer in Chicago, Isaiah Spencer, taught me about. And it's basically all the little drags and grace notes and ghost notes and buzzes that make jazz music sound like jazz music. Right? The English. And it comes from a pool term I found out where, when you hit the ball a little bit off center, then it spins, right? And that's what the English is. It's kind of playing your ideas a little off center with a little bit of dirt around them to give it, I don't know, this more vibe, this more authenticity that we hear with people like Billy Higgins, okay? It's kind of like if you learned to speak a new language, but you always had the accent sort of wrong. It sounds stiff, it sounds awkward. But if you learn the subtleties, what are the words that people kind of slur together? What are the ones that they use a little slang for, right? That's what the English is in your jazz playing. And it's pretty easy to add it to your playing, kind of once you understand how it works. So let's dive into that. So I've got a transcription here of Billy Higgins trading on Hocus Pocus with Lee Morgan, where he's using the English. Let's just listen along and hear some examples of what the English sounds like in real life. All right, that is the English. That's Billy Higgins, okay? So let me point out the spots where I would call it English. Like, what I love about Billy Higgins is he has this sort of like mumbly sort of feel where it's not like machine gun like Roy Haynes, right? It's kind of and his touch is kind of slurred together like that. Right? It's just everything's very mumbly that's a tap height, which really brings a focus to the accents and gives this stretchy vibe, okay? So the couple of spots where you can kind of see the English at play is like right here, boo-ka, ra-da-da, right? If you listen to the recording, first of all, don't think too much about how I notate it. I'm just capturing sound in a way that we can look at. It's not what it looks like, it's what it sounds like, right? So it sounds like this. Right? And he kind of stretches out that double, that drag, right? A lot of times when I teach students this, they try to play this as like a weird triplet thing, but it's not. It's like the accents and then the double is just like a little embellishment on top of that. So you don't even really think about where that double goes. You just kind of throw it in. Boo-ka, da-da-da. Boo-ka, da-da-da. Right? Another spot where he uses the English. I mean, these doubles, it's written like 16th notes, but he plays them like, right? They kind of spread out. They stretch out. Another spot. This same, very similar figure, but with a drag at the beginning, right? Adding the English, and then another one right here at the end. Now this time when he plays it, he goes, right? He kind of stretches out that drag. And that's one of the most important parts of the English, is that the accent is the most important thing. And then all the embellishments, they can kind of bend and stretch and get that sort of jazz feeling of being a strong rhythm, but a really weird, stretched out, abstract rhythm that makes it feel so good. Like when a horn player lays back, right? That's the feeling of the English, and that's what we want to capture when we're doing this. One last spot that he does it is right here. Right? So that's just like 1 and 4, right? But he's just kind of letting his little drag, his double, just kind of fluff in there, right? That's the English, just embellishing the accents. Okay, now let's start to unpack how we can make our own English phrases. So one of the things I like to do for my students at the jazz school is create these snare drum etudes that are based off the techniques of famous jazz drummers. So one that I wrote to use the English, I call it Philly's Tea and Crumpets, because it's based off like some of the English phrases from Philly Joe Jones, tea and crumpets, English, whatever. All right, that's a dad joke for you. But the first line of it explores that feeling. So it goes like this. Okay, now when I wrote that, that whole first line has the same accent pattern, which is, right? And then you embellish it with all the different types of drags. So you can practice thinking of the accent pattern while changing where the drags are. And that's what the English is all about. It's like the accents are fixed. The drags can kind of spread out however they need to, right? So the first one is just the naked rhythm. The second one is with like what I call a closed drag, like this, right? The third one is with like a 16th note drag, which is a little bit more open. And then the last one is with a triplet drag, right? And I recommend, if you have any snare drum solos, like I used to do this with Wilcoxon solos from that rudimental swing solos, play the whole solo with really closed drags, with 16th note drags, with triplet drags, and then just varying them based on the space you have. And that's how you develop this feeling for the English, right? We can do it with the next line of this Philly's Tea and Crumpets. It goes like this. Right? I kind of did it in the solo. The first one, closed drag. The second one mixes a closed drag with a triplet drag. It's the same sticking, but more spread out. So if I take that same idea, mess around with where the drags are, right? I can play it like that. I could play, right? I can mix those. I could go, right? And that's how you start to develop this English feeling. Let's try another line from that Philly solo. It goes like this, right? Now, this one's really interesting to me. I really like the da-da, ra-da, that fast drag into the double there, okay? So, again, closed drags, more 16th note drags, right? Triplet drags, right? And then mixing them, right? Right? You hear how like wild that sounds, how it shifts between the subdivisions so much? But if you do it right in your head, it just feels like you're just playing the doubles wherever they need to go. And the accents are always staying consistent. Now, in a second, I'm going to show you how to make your own English ideas and incorporate them into real solos. But before we do that, if you want some more personalized help on using the English or learning more of the skills you need to become a complete jazz drummer who like plays at jam sessions and stuff like that, things like learning tunes, knowing phrasing so you don't get lost in solos, learning solo ideas like the English or what Roy Haynes might play, That's all stuff that I cover with my one-on-one students at the jazz school, where we just dive really deep on these concepts every single week. If you want to become a one-on-one student, I have about 5 spots left at the time of recording this video. So if you're interested, click the link in the description to apply and book a call, okay? Let's start talking about how to make your own English ideas. The first step is to just write a little skeleton rhythm like this, okay? So here's one I wrote. Okay, great. The next step is to play it with closed drags like this, right? That's that really closed one. Honestly, that gets me the English feeling just from doing that, but I want the flexibility to spread them out and stretch them out like Billy Higgins might. So I'm gonna try the 16th note drag version, and I'm gonna try the triplet version, right? And then I'm gonna do what I call the English version, which is where you just slur them together in whatever way makes the most sense. Right? You heard there, it's like a closed one, a triplet one, and then the last one was like somewhere between triplet and 16th note. Right? Now let's do it for another rhythm. This one right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Add the closed drag. Add the 16th note drag. Add the triplet drag. And then mess around with stretching them in different ways. Right? That's the English. Now let's do one more. Let's do a 2-bar rhythm. This one is a really good, actually it's going to be a 3-bar rhythm. This one's really good because it kind of goes over the bar line, and you hear people like Philly using this all the time, okay? So this right here. Okay, close drags. Okay, now 16th note drags. Triplet drags. Boom. And then the English version, stretch it however I need to. This one sounds cool if you do it really fast. Right? That's how you generate your own English ideas. Now let's put it all together. I'm just gonna play like a 12-ish bar solo and see if I can use some of these English ideas in a real context. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Boom. There you go. That's how you use the English. If you take the time to integrate that into your soloing, it's going to sound way more authentic, and it's going to feel really good and fun. If you like that, you're going to love my video on how to become a complete jazz drummer. So click here to watch that. That was fun. Easy peasy.